I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube about the steps you need to take to write your book, and there's like 5 steps, 10 steps, 4 steps, 17 steps. I have 3 steps for you. By nature, I'm kind of lazy. I don't want to do a ton of work if I don't have to. And that's why I did the video on plotting your book in less than an hour, because I like to have things done, move on, and start doing what I really like to do, which is write. The first thing that you need, and the thing that matters most in 99% of books, is your character. You really need to figure out your character. I have plenty of exercises to figure out your character in the free character master plan in the description. But if you want to go in more depth and really get to know your character, then I suggest checking out the Writing Compelling Fiction workbook, because that gives you a lot more questions and a lot more things to think about. Knowing who your character is, what matters most in the world to them, what has scarred them in the past, really gives you a great starting point for your book, because you start with high stakes. You start with something that really matters to your character. Because if it matters to the character a lot, then it's going to matter to the reader as well. If you just have your character going for something that isn't really all that important to them, for instance, if your character is applying for a job that you know they're going to hate and that they don't want, and their dream job is just over here, but they don't have the guts to apply for it, then the reader's not going to be as invested in the character applying for the not-so-dream job and trying to do that job for 200 pages. Going after the dream job and taking the risks and really stepping outside of their comfort zone in order to get it, that is what the reader will be invested in. Can you use the crappy job as a means to an end to get them to the dream job, or to give a clue or something else? Absolutely. I have seen that done in a number of books. Before I Met You, for instance, by Lisa Jewell, the character takes a job that she really doesn't like because she's kind of tiptoeing out of her comfort zone. But she does keep going after her dream, even as she's working the crappy job. The second thing you need to know is what matters most to your character. Is it their home? Is it their family? Is it their job? Is it their place in society? But whatever that is, that's what you're going to take away from them, because that's what makes it really compelling, and that's what makes the reader super invested. In the initial scenes of Nobody with Bob Odenkirk, the robbers come in and take away his daughter's Hello Kitty bracelet, and that sends him off on a rampage. But then the stakes get higher, and the really, really bad guys come in and end up forcing him to give up his house and send his family away. They have taken the thing that matters the most to him, and so now he goes all out. It's a really great story for seeing how you can take something small and then turn it into something bigger with the character and the plot. List what matters most to your character, 5, 6 things, whatever it happens to be, and look at which one you can take away from them. And then finally, you need the how. How exactly are they going to get this back? And that's where scenes come into play. So your plot has a catalyst that sets off the character going after their goal, going on their journey, essentially, whether that's saving the world or getting their home back. And in order to achieve it, they need to take a bunch of steps. Those steps are essentially your scenes. I talked about this in depth in the masterclass on scenes, but here's a plot chart, and it just shows you that each of those little steps feed into the character's overall goal. That's the how. And all you got to do is list 10 to start off with. You're going to figure out others as you go along, but list 10 steps that the character can take in order to achieve that goal. Then I want you to look at how your character can cause it to go wrong. I did talk more generally about this in the How to Plot a Book in Less Than an Hour video, but what I want you to really think about here, since you're doing all of this character work, is how can my character's fears, anxieties, doubts, insecurities, all of this bundle of emotions that are inside my character that make my character who he or she is, how can that be self-defeating and cause things to go wrong? Because a lot of us, maybe all of us, tend to be self-defeating, right? Like you're on a diet and you still go get the crumble cookie. I know I talk about crumble cookies a lot on this channel, but I really love crumble cookies. If you've not had their chocolate chip, you absolutely must try it. But seriously, I undermine whatever diet exercise goals I have for the day when I go and get a 640 calorie cookie. Frankly, it's worth it. Now, that's a very simple surface level example, but it's true. We all do self-defeating things. And it's even cooler when you can make your character do it. So look at this person and think about how they would cause their own problems based on their weaknesses. Like the weakness of eating my feelings instead of actually dealing with them. That creates the problem of getting the cookie and getting further and further away from the gym. Your character has some kind of weakness that has been created by their past. And I want you to figure out how you can take those 10 steps you just figured out and have the character make it go wrong. Deadpool, for instance, is very sarcastic and ticks off people in every single movie, and that just makes people not want to help him or want to kill him. So he creates his own problems by his sarcasm and his inability to keep his mouth shut. So look at what your character is like and think about how they can make things go wrong. And there you have it, the 3 components that you need to write your book: the who, the what, and the how. And boom, you can start doing it. Now, if you want to go more in depth about how to plot the book, I highly suggest this video here because it will give you all of the keys that you need to plot your novel and make it strong from page 1.